What's going on, and welcome into your casual gaming news conversation for this week. I'm Nick, that's Connor, and this is your weekly gaming news podcast from Co-op64. Connor, how are you feeling today?
Feeling good. Playing a lot of games. Looking forward to Thunderbolts this weekend. First Marvel movie I've been even remotely excited about in what feels like the last couple of years. So I'm stoked on that. I've been playing Final Fantasy Tactics.
Oh, I did see this.
On the PS Vita. I'm about 7 hours in after one day.
Oh, shit.
I'm obsessed with this game.
So let me ask you this. Are you excited that you're still playing it on the Vita, or do you wish that you picked it up on the PS1 at this point?
I'm playing the PSP version, Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions, which has, I think it has additional job classes, and it has cutscenes in it with this, really gorgeous art style and with some, voice acting and everything. I'm glad I'm playing it on Vita because of that. I might go back and play the original version eventually on PS1, but on the go, this is my going to bed game or whatever, hop in bed and I'm I'll just play a couple missions or whatever, and then I play it for 3 hours straight last night. I'm dude, this game is so fucking good.
I mean, this is an all-timer. Final Fantasy Tactics is known as one of the, not only the best Final Fantasy games of all time, but just one of the best games of all time.
I get it. I totally get it. It's just the cycle of doing a battle and then you level up your job, or you get job points, and then you finish the battle. You can go change out your equipment. You can go check if you can purchase any new abilities, see if you've unlocked a new job to switch to or whatever. It's menu simulator, and I love it. It gives me the reward for winning a battle and gaining XP is more menu simulator, and I'm oh, I love this so much, dude. It's so good. I'm only 7 hours in. We will see how this all goes, but yeah, people were not kidding when they said that this is a lot of people's favorite Final Fantasy, and I'm oh, okay, well that's some high praise right there going into it. But 7 hours in, I'm okay, yeah, I get it so far. So I'm really stoked on it. How are you, and what have you been playing, Nick?
I have finally beaten Persona 5 Original. 10 days of streaming, 200 hours of streaming over the past 2 weeks. It was awesome. It was simply amazing. And I, first and foremost, thank you if you showed up for a minute, hour, 10 hours, 100 hours. Some people were in there for a lot of this stream. And that was just really, really cool and really, really impactful to go and see, go through this journey, but then also have the chat alongside me and have the chat be as awesome as it was. Persona 5 is just it is one of the greatest games of all time. And
how do you feel about it in comparison to Metaphor now?
I've been waiting to have that conversation. People asked me, people peppered me, and I want to have it with you first. It is not as good as Metaphor. It's not. And I think the biggest thing there is Metaphor is refining what the Persona series is, and just tweaking certain things and making it better. They learned the lessons that they could possibly learn from Persona 5 Royal, and we're yeah, let's just make a better experience. Something like the bond system, where if you go to and talk to one of your confidants and it allows you to upgrade, it doesn't matter which way you answer. You're still going to get the story. You're still going to get the narrative. You're not going to waste your time, basically. That is way more fulfilling, in my opinion, on the player, and making sure that you go and get those bonds, because that's a really cool part of the games in Personas and in Metaphor. And so I think that that's better. I think that the archetype system is a little bit better of a combat system. I think that it's way more interesting, and there's way more to dive deep on compared to I think Persona's combat system is pretty standard, pretty basic when it's all said and done. Is it super satisfying and visually pleasing? 100%. That's why it's one of the best games ever. But the step up to make it even more interesting is masterful in Metaphor. So I do think that Metaphor is better, but is Persona a top 50 game of all time? Yeah, it is. Persona 5. Have I beat Royal? No. Could that go and even increase what I'm currently thinking about this game? 100%. I'm at a 9.5. I think that this is one of the best games ever developed, and going through that journey, it's so interesting to have that conversation. We'll do what we've been playing, and eventually, whenever Matt shows up to this apartment, him and I will sit down, and you're allowed to join it, and we'll do Metaphor and Persona and all that stuff.
Watching you play this and having not played past the second Palace since 2018. I beat it in 20. I got in 2017, played it in chunks, did like 60 hours, 20 hours, 20 hours, beat the game at the end of 2018, I believe. And I don't fucking remember anything.
Oh, damn.
Like certain things were happening. I was like, I remember like the broad strokes of everything, but I was like, I don't really remember the details of all of this. So like there were certain moments where I was like, Laura, what exactly is happening here? Because she's played it more recently. So yeah, I definitely would like to go back and play it myself.
Get a royal playthrough.
The idea of doing a podcast on it, it's like I don't know if I'll be useful there, just because it's been such a long time that some of the details are just hazy.
People were asking me, they're like, when are we getting this podcast and everything? I was like, Connor's invited to the podcast of whatever, but it will happen whenever Matt gets up here. That is like, that man has gone through it, has, I believe, platinumed almost all of these games at this point, and loves the story. And like, I've been itching to get this man on a podcast for, it's really funny. The first podcast I ever shot in my entire life was with Matt, talking about video games back when I think I was 17 years old. And so it would be a fun little full circle moment to actually do this with some nice mics and lights and go for it.
How do you feel about the conversation around turn-based combat going on right now because of Expedition 33? You've played early Final Fantasy games now. You've played Expedition 33. You've played Metaphor and Persona 5. How do you feel about turn-based as a combat system now? Because I know that you probably didn't like it growing up, just like a lot of people don't, myself included.
Yeah, because I have taste. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Sorry. Is that just the end of the question?
Yeah. How do you feel about turn-based combat now?
I really enjoy turn-based combat. I'm about it. The big thing that I don't like in video games, though, is getting completely stuck. And when it's turn-based combat, sometimes when you get really stuck, it almost feels like there's no way out compared to in an action game where it is, okay, I'm going to roll here. I'm going to, dodge here. I just need to get better. There isn't a way to get better necessarily when you have the hand be dealt in a certain way unless you outsmart it, you figure it out,
or you grind. You can get some levels or whatever.
100%. And you can do that in any game. But like the thing,
just make it a little bit easier on you. It's not necessary, but it is one way out.
But still, it doesn't like even grinding necessarily doesn't like give me like this. Okay, now I'm good to go. Sometimes even grinding and getting a few more levels isn't having the number go up enough that I needed to, where, okay, cool, I'm hitting for 100, now I'm hitting for 110. I'm still getting smoked halfway through a battle. I'm not talking about Persona in particular. That is normally the big turn away for me when it comes to turn-based combat. But then there's something like Expedition that comes along, and that's, I understand it's a turn-based game. It is a phenomenal turn-based game. And the way that, are you seeing these TikToks, the way people are breaking this game right now? Really cool, really interesting. But I loved Expedition. Expedition is currently my game of the year. I think that narrative is awesome, but the combat really does sing in that game because it is the perfect mix of turn-based combat and dodging and parrying, which is so interesting because now I have to go and figure out a way to describe the perfect mix between action combat and turn-based combat, which was Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth. Now the terminology of that and Expedition are just different enough that I can't just use this overarching umbrella for both of those combat systems.
They're so different, but also fit under that same headline.
The Venn diagram there is really weird, but it's fun. But no, I love that combat. It's like getting different food from different restaurants. Some days I do want Chipotle. Some days I do want my Mickey D. Some days I do want Panda Express. Some days, whatever it is, right? Like, I do at times want turn-based games. I don't know how often I can do a turn-based game. Like, the idea, well, it's really funny. I did Persona right after playing Expedition. Like, that was, I played Expedition for 33 hours, hopped on a plane, went to Miami, came back, shot a podcast, and then it's just been Persona since then. And so, like, I've basically been playing turn-based games. I'm putting those in quotes because Expedition's a little bit different, for about 140 hours for the past. And so doing that, it's okay. It still works. I don't want to play another turn-based game right now. I'm excited to play anything else that's not turn-based. But I do love the combat system. It works. I'm not going to scoff. Maybe I still will, but when a turn-based game comes up and it looks cool, I still will make the joke in this year, in 2025, whatever. But I'm way more open to play it, especially I feel like a lot of these dev teams are learning the lessons from Final Fantasy, Persona, and then now eventually Expedition is going to, I assume, have a huge impact in the future of turn-based games and the way that is done through that combat. So I'm really interested on seeing the future, but I am about it now.
Do you think that Final Fantasy will go back to turn-based ever, if for a main numbered entry?
Yes, but I don't know if I want that, and I don't care.
I don't care either. There's great turn-based games out there, and we're getting more of them than ever. It seems like we're on an incline or whatever. I'm glad Expedition 33 exists because A, I love the game, and B, I think that it is hopefully going to usher in more popularity for the turn-based combat system. So
I still want to go out there and get a steelbook. Funny enough, Connor, can you grab that Persona 5 case real quick? I didn't know that this was on the wall during this week, and so it's really funny to be like, oh shit, I just met that character. I thought that this was the original 4 characters that you get in the game, but it's not, and so I would have spoiled myself on some of these story beats. But that's really funny because I didn't even realize that. There's the OG4 there. Yeah, nice. But yeah, no, I love Persona 5. Proto Dan or Discord sent out this sweatshirt, which is just awesome to go and have right after finishing it. I went to the PO box. It's going to be in our housekeeping. If you're sending us something to our PO box, make sure that you put a dash in the co-op. And also, if you're going to address a name, do my name, please. Because it is under my name. It's also under the company name. But they were just like, Coop 64, and then they tossed it in a back room. So when I went in there, thankfully, there was somebody that was just like, yeah, we don't have that. And I'm just like, somebody called in. I know that it's back there. Like, we got this confirmed. Like, shout out to Dan, who took that extra step and was like, no, it's there. And so, thankfully, as I'm having this conversation with this person at the post office, this lovely lady walks up and just goes, it's like, it's by the bathroom. I remember seeing this a couple days ago, and I was just like, shout out to her because, and then she was like, you got some ID? I was like, yep. And my ID says my name and not Connor's name, and it was addressed to you. So they were just like, all right, just hand it over. Name. Yeah, they're like good enough, and so, but yeah, just a heads up for PO box. But
to Proto Dan, they're sick.
Yeah, and this is going to be one of those sweatshirts that I wear all the time. Like, I'm going to make sure. Honestly, like, I'm looking so fresh right now. Might take this one off because I'm currently wearing my relaxing clothes, my lounging clothes right now. Take this off. I might go out on the town later, throw this bad boy on, looking spiffy, looking great. But no, super sick design. Shout out Dan. But yeah, no, this is very much one of those games that like I will be talking about forever. We will do what we've been playing and go further into that. Eventually we will do a spoiler cast, and that is going to be a moment that I've already talked to Matt about this, and he's currently in the process of potentially moving in a couple months, and then he needs to get settled at a new job. He will make his way out to Cincinnati sometime in the next year, and whenever that happens, we will get behind this desk and we will do a podcast. Connor's invited, Laura's invited. Anyone else that has ever played Persona 5 and Metaphor is invited. I want to play through Persona 3 Reload before that podcast, but also I think we're going to get Persona 4 Remake here soon, and so maybe I just wait. And
you don't think it's this year, right?
I think there's a chance.
Yeah.
If I'm not putting my money where my mouth is in picking it up. Fantasy Critic, I'm so upset with the rules that we currently have, and I understand why they are.
There's always a problem with Fantasy Critic rules. It was Oblivion, now what is it, Nick?
So, so I understand what the drop system is. You get 3 drops. No, you get 1 unconditional drop. And then you're allowed to drop 3 games if they get confirmed to not be this year and are not counterpicked. I need more drops, Connor, because there's more shit I want to pick up right now. Like, because I can't take a risk on a Persona 4 without dropping, like, and using my 1 slot, pick that up, and then just drop it again. I need to be. You're hindering me from playing the game, Connor. You're
I just did
me
the
in
default
cuffs.
Rules. Whatever they said, I just said yes to.
Connor, it sounds like you can change these rules. Maybe I'll slide you like $5 down to the table, and we can go from there. We're 14 minutes into this podcast. Honestly, I thought we would go for like 20 or 25.
Yeah.
And thank goodness, though, light news week. Nothing to talk about.
Right.
But before we get into the news, we do have housekeeping. Go over to Patreon to support shows like this. You can get this show 3 days early, the Casual Gaming Conversation 3 days early, and a bonus episode of the Casual Gaming Conversation every single week. We just started talking about Expedition 33 this upcoming week's spoiler cast for Expedition 33 will be bonus pod exclusive over on Patreon. My current game of the year, this game that is just so narrative focused that we could not talk about the narrative during the review. Obviously, we didn't want to spoil the game. It's going to be very nice to go in and literally go all in on that narrative. So you can get that podcast alongside a backlog of many bonus pods. Recollecting Retro coming out tomorrow. Co-op 64 podcast, exclusive TikToks. If you're a big fan of the TikToks, there are certain TikToks over there that we've never done on the main page. They are truly exclusives. Somebody had a confusion about what those are, by the way. They're just short form content like that you know and love over on TikTok. Just a heads up, they're not like some different thing, but they are, some of them are different types of games and stuff like
20
that.
20 questions, wavelength,
Tapple
name, stuff like that.
A lot of fun. But yeah, so go support over there. It truly does mean the world to us. Obviously a big part of the celebration for this Persona Marathon was me going full time, and we could not do something like that without all the support over there. So truly, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you. Twitch streams. We're finally back to a normal schedule, everyone. Monday, Connor, we're back with
Pokemon Nuzlocke.
Connor,
Stoked.
when he's on the sticks, no Pokemon is safe. Come hang out 7 to 10 on Monday. Group stream returns. Myself, Connor, and Brady all back on the couch having fun playing Pokemon. Tuesday and Thursday, Connor, Shadows Die how many times?
2 times.
2 times. Sekiro with myself will begin on Tuesday and Thursday, and then Resident Evil 1 on Wednesday. How excited are you to hop back into that?
I am extremely stoked to play more Resident Evil. Dude, what a fucking
You're
game.
playing 2 all-timers right now, by the way.
Yeah.
We talked about me last year playing a lot of all-timers. Right now, Tactics and RE1. Are you kidding me? Golly.
Go to the backlog, baby, man. Like, there's so much shit that you missed, and I'm experiencing
Connor,
it right
story
now.
number 1 is all about us hopping into the backlog. We'll get there when we get there. And then the big question, Nick, when will you be returning to Persona 5 to finish out Royal? So first and foremost, the schedule will be back to normal mostly when it comes to Twitch. I'm not taking on Royal into my personal streams, mainly because there are certain games that I really want to get through this year on those streams. And we don't want like people to be hopping into the Tuesday, Thursday stream with all of a sudden being 120 hours into a game that they never experienced. So we're going to go, and I think Friday. I need a week. I need some time to answer emails and do co-op stuff, but also like be a person and stuff like that, and make sure that when I'm not on stream, I can like be outside and such. So I'm thinking Friday morning, 9 a.m. Check the Discord for it. That's not confirmed, but I think that's where it's going to be. 9 a.m. Friday. I'll play for like 6 hours, maybe up. I'm probably up till this show is sort of the deal.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll start up at 8 a.m., something like that. Play about 5 hours there, and then I think we'll maybe do like 5 hours on Monday and then 5 hours Tuesday that next week. And that should be enough to beat out Royal, hopefully. About 15-ish hours is what I've heard. And your boy's been grinding. He's been kicking some ass. So I hope that answers all your Twitch questions. Moving on to Discord, we have an amazing Discord community. You can be talking about the latest and greatest with us, like Expedition 33, which Connor right before the show was yapping it up in the spoiler Discord. I'm excited to hop in and see what he said. I'm excited to talk to y'all about Persona finally, and like what this story was and meant to me. I'm excited to hear from y'all what you guys have been playing. It's truly an amazing experience over on the Discord, so go check that out. Is linked in the description down below. Merch, co-op64store.com. You can get new merch. Review us over on Apple Podcast, and then comment section. Not anything that I saw. There was a lot of comments. If you've made it 19 minutes into this podcast, go comment what is your favorite Persona game. And if you've not played Persona, tell me why. I don't know why. I don't know why we're going there. Connor, what's your favorite Persona game?
I've only beaten 5.
I know, exactly. So if you're like Connor, just comment on Persona 5 down below. Or say, hey, Nick, you're looking really great in that sweatshirt right now. I know. Great sweater. Anyways, you ready to get in the show proper, Connor?
Let's do it.
Headline, GTA 6 delayed to May 2026. This is Wesley Impel at IGN. Quote, Rockstar has delayed Grand Theft Auto 6 to May 26, 2026. It was due out fall 2025. In a statement, Rockstar apologized for the significant delay to the game, expected to be the biggest entertainment launch of all time. Quote, we are very sorry that this is later than you expected, and quote, Rockstar said, quote, the interest and excitement surrounding a new Grand Theft Auto has been truly humbling for our entire team. We want to thank you for your support and your patience as we work to finish the game. With every game we have released, the goal has always been to try and exceed your expectations, and Grand Theft Auto 6 is no exception. We hope you understand that we need this extra time to deliver at the level of quality you expect and deserve. We look forward to sharing more information with you soon. End quote. Connor, GTA 6 is not this fall. It is 2026. It is May 26th, 2026. Are you okay with this delay?
I think it's bittersweet because obviously I wanted to play it this fall, just like everybody else did. But it's good to finally have a date. May 26th, 2026 is good to have that information under our belt. And it's good to know that they're taking their time on it and going to be working hard to exceed expectations. Hopefully, based off of reporting from Jason Schreier, that they are trying to minimize crunch, something that was an issue on Red Dead Redemption 2. So keeping some level of work-life balance to get this game out. And I think that they should take that time to make this game in a way that is going to live up to the legacy of GTA and meet the expectations of the biggest media property release of all time. So I think that it's, like I said, a little bit of a bummer, but it's good to have more information. I wish we got a trailer today to kind of help counteract this feeling, know more details about the game. I feel like we know very, very little about it. So hopefully we get that trailer in the coming months and we get to hear more about it. But I'm excited to be playing this next year, and hopefully it does hit that date. But if it doesn't, take all the time you need. I'm sure it'll be great when it comes out. In the meantime, there are so many games to play in 2025, whether you're playing new releases or you're going back in the backlog like we have been lately. It's just been a ton of fun to play video games. They could stop making games forever and there would be too many games to get through in my lifetime. So I've come to terms with delays in that way, that it just gives you more time to play other stuff. There's so much fun. There's so many fun games to play. So I'm not too disappointed, but I'm a little bit disappointed. And I understand people being more disappointed than I am. I can't wait to play this. So yeah, how are you feeling about it?
It's such a fun day when there's a quote in here, the biggest entertainment launch of all time. And it's not a hyperbolic statement. Like, this is going to be the biggest launch of all time when it actually comes out, when we have this moment, whether it is May or it is delayed, which
possible.
I think it's going to probably be delayed again if I had to throw out a guess, but I am excited to play it when it comes out. For me, this is tough for 2025's year. We just lost the headliner. We just lost the biggest name possible when it came to games this year. And so it is a little bit sad. It definitely deflates the tires just a little bit on what 2025 was supposed to be, but we're about a month away from the Switch 2 launching. There's games that are going to be coming out over the next few months that are exciting. I can't wait to play a game like Donkey Kong Bonanza. And then down the line, we got things like Ghost of Yote, which is really exciting. So yeah, no, I'm okay with this. It's all right, but I want another win. But this is it's not good news, like this is not a great headline. I prefer it to be out tomorrow, but I'm not too bummed about it. We were having a little bit of a conversation off camera, and it's an interesting question to pose. Where are we at with the rest of this year, and how do you expect it to go now that we have this GTA 6 question mark removed from the slate? Because I felt like every single conversation we've had when it comes to release dates and games are waiting to announce their trailer with the release date because of this GTA 6 question. How do you think that the industry responds, and where do you think that leaves some of these question mark games for 2025 at this point?
Yeah, I think that we're going to get a lot more information in the coming weeks, hopefully, about the rest of 2025. There's a lot of games that I think we don't even know about at all that could come out of the woodworks now, knowing that they're not going up against something like GTA. And there's a huge gap from October 2nd onwards for a lot of games to hopefully fill in. Obviously, we know a bunch of Nintendo stuff with Metroid Prime, Pokemon, and Kirby Air Riders that we don't have dates for that could end up in that slot. There's Xbox games that like Gears Day that might slip into this year now because they have that opening, or like a Halo 1 remaster remake or something like that coming that we've kind of speculated on that could exist. It could fill up that November time slot. I think PlayStation's big game for this year is Ghost. So
Yeah.
I don't think we're getting something from them after the fact. But I think that 2025 still shaping up to be a great year in games. And hopefully we get release dates for stuff like Hades 2 and Silksong, but also other indies like Blueprints that just come out of nowhere and make a big splash. Could end up coming out later this year that we don't even know about, that aren't even announced yet. So exciting. I think that obviously I would prefer to be playing GTA in this year, but it does give us some room to breathe and just be like, okay, we can kind of plan out our year a little bit better, knowing that we aren't going to be playing GTA for 2 months straight at the end of the year. So yeah, it's interesting. It's shaping up to be a very interesting year.
I'm going to hop in there, and then I got a couple more questions I want to fire away on this one. Yeah, it's always an interesting thing to be like release dates and calendars, because the way that a year fills up all of a sudden is almost magical. At the start of the year, I make a document for us, and normally there's 1 or 2 games on the calendar. Like, okay, we're going to review this. Like, going into this year, all we had dates for really was Assassin's Creed, Monster Hunter, Split Fiction got a date at the Game Awards, Valve got a date that previous year, and then it was like, all right, what the fuck is the rest of this year? And then the way it's filled out with South of Midnight, Expedition 33, and Doom, Night Rain, Mario Kart World, FBC Firebreak, Death Stranding 2. There's games every couple of weeks coming out. And now we do have that large section at the back half of the year. SGF is still E3 season. It's still summer showcase season to some degree, even though PlayStation doesn't do a full presentation. Nintendo might not be there this year, but like, I'm expecting there still to be a couple fireworks left to be shot off.
Phantom Blade Zero, baby?
No,
probably not.
no,
Probably not.
no.
But what if now there's an opening for it?
Yeah, Phantom Blade Zero would be rad.
Yeah, like right in December or something. It could happen.
It
could happen.
I got a question for you. This is totally random. Skate? Do we get Skate this year finally?
I think that they're gonna kind of trickle this one out. We're gonna do like an alpha, a beta, and then maybe it's like a live service game.
Yeah.
So I could see it coming out and not being like totally finished. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And we'll see where it goes from there.
But yeah, no. That for some reason when I think of SGF, I think of last year's SGF and it being, a little bit more of a disappointment and a little bit more of a question mark. Where are we at now is such a big difference compared to last year, where I'm like, there are still so many question mark games that I'm looking forward to and I'm excited about, and we'll see if they come to fruition for this year. I doubt a lot of it. The ones that are those guaranteed bangers that we don't know about yet are Metroid Prime getting a date, Hades 2 and getting a full release, and then Silksong if that drops. But other than that, I'm not expecting anything else, and it's still a good year. At the end of the day, what I'm realizing is this year just might not be my year. Like, one of the most exciting thing for me on years prior are Final Fantasy releases and AAA PlayStation games like a Spider-Man 2 and a God of War and Elden Ring and stuff like that. This year being Mario Kart for me, like that's my big game, and like I'm stoked about it. Like that's a game I'm really looking forward to.
Judas probably not coming out this year.
Yeah, Judas isn't coming out this year.
Totally kind of kills a lot of hype for me.
Yeah.
That was my second most anticipated game. Yours as well, right?
Yeah.
So that hurts. Obviously, Death Stranding is big for me. Ghost, I think we just basically kind of agree that this could be another 2019, 2022 situation where we have a lot of great games, some excellent games, but I don't think we're going to get our Elden Ring this year. I don't know if we're going to get Astrobot this year. The Last of Us Part 2. I don't think we're going to get something on that level, but I think that we're just going to have a lot of excellent and great video games, which is not a complaint.
Yeah, you can't complain about it at this point because it is just so good consistently. Like, we're at the point where every single time we go and we sit down to go and discuss all these future titles and everything, it's like, in 2 weeks we got another game. People are like, well, we're gonna talk about Lost Soul Saga delayed. It's like, there's Night Rain was out on the same day. Like, that's a good thing. Like, there's, in my opinion, we'll get there in a moment, but like, there's so many games that we have to get to all the time that are nonstop. Go. And then I do always keep a list of a few games. I can't find my master list, but I have an old one up there. Do we get something like later this year? Do we get Wolverine? Like, hey, could we see something like that from PlayStation? Could we see something like the other Naughty Dog game that apparently exists that's been in development for a few years now? Like, what does PlayStation have to offer? Apparently, Jeff Grubb, a few months ago, the last we heard about whatever Sony's doing in the summertime was they potentially could be doing a showcase. And if that's the case, you got to have some fucking games to show off.
Right.
And the largest question mark in PlayStation's portfolio at this point is what the fuck's Insomniac doing?
Oh, I thought you were going to say, what is Cory Barlog doing at Sony Santa Monica?
We know, here's my thing. We know he's doing something.
But we know that Insomniac is doing Wolverine.
But do we? That's what I'm saying at this point. I don't fucking know. I can't believe in it. And that's kind of sad. But I can't and I will not believe in it until it actually happens at this point with Wolverine. And so we need an update. The last time we heard about Wolverine, Connor, I was
2021.
I just started my junior year of college.
Yeah, that's wild.
I've been an adult for 2 years at this point. Like, I've been out of college for 2 years. Like, I went from eating Taco Bell every day to paying bills. That is the duration it's been since we've heard about Wolverine, dude.
Yeah.
And so, like, I struggle to go and be like, this year is going to be a banger, and I know it. But, like, and which is totally different from the tune that we had at the start of this year, which was, this is going to be the greatest year in gaming history.
Yes.
That I think that at this point, that's just not going to be the case.
I think losing Fable is a big hit.
Yeah, major
to
hit.
that. Like, there's just a lot that if Gears does come out this year, I think that changes the tune a little bit. But I don't want to be negative about this year because I think it's a very solid year thus far. I'm curious what highs it can get to. I really ended up loving last year, and then the tune last year going into it was like, this is going to be a weak year, and I ended up really liking it.
So for my game list document, I normally would go back to a Game Awards betting special or something, and that's sort of where I built it. Now, apparently, I was smart enough to just go and make it titled Game List. So let's see. I got some questions for you. Is it going to come out this year? This is so funny to see just old betting special stuff, but I want to go with things that are like actually possible. Do we get something from Insomniac this year?
No.
Does OD come out this year?
No.
That would be wild. Do we get something like... this is so interesting because some of these have dates at this point. Do we get 007 IOI's new game this year?
No.
I agree there. Do we get 2XKO?
Yes.
Yeah, I could see that. And then Skate was something I had on here. Splinter Cell. Do we get potentially that boosted up from Ubisoft at this point?
No.
Exactly. So, like, a lot of these questions are actually kind of answered at this point.
Yeah.
Where it's like, we're not going to... There might be...
Kingdom Hearts 4.
Well, Kingdom Hearts 4, or Persona 6, like...
Persona 4 rerun.
Rerun? Is that what we're calling it?
That's what I've heard people say.
Nah,
Yeah.
that'd be pretty cool.
Because it's to do with like the TV or whatever.
Ah, that's... what?
The Midnight Channel.
Rewind.
Rewind.
Persona 4
as well.
Rewind.
Yeah.
Come on. Let's get after it. But yeah, I feel like when I look at this sheet, and then you have things like So Song and Hades 2 on there, and the other question mark games that we've already thrown out that we know about, it's like, I'm looking at this year and I'm like, there's a lot. I've given 3 games 9 out of 10 this year. There are 3 games that are, I believe, over the 90s on Metacritic right now, between Split Fiction, Blueprints, and now Expedition. It's like, there's great fucking games out there, but I'm still waiting for the one for me. And I honestly thought that there was a chance that it was GTA. And that was like, oh, it's GTA and it's just GTA because GTA is fucking awesome.
Well, you have Mario Kart for you.
I am excited about Mario Kart, but it's such an interesting thing. It's the thing you always tell me. It's like it's still a racing game. How can
It's still just Mario Kart for me at least.
Yeah,
But it's just it's the longevity of that game that really sells it for me, of something that I'm going to be playing for years to come.
I'm just begging at this point for them to go and look me in the eyes and say, the internet is going to be amazing. Like, I just need Nintendo to tell me the online systems there are going to work and they're going to be fun and you're going to be able to play all the Grand Prix that you want with your buddies. The knockout tours can be seamless. Like, could you imagine they use the word seamless in a Mario Kart presentation? That would be pretty fucking awesome. That's not going to happen.
They would have done it in the direct.
Exactly. And that's why I'm like, I can see the future. I think that this game's going to be awesome. I can be completely wrong. It might be a mess of a game, and I could give it a 4 out of 10. But I can see me being the same thing that I say about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It's a 9.5 out of 10. It's one of the greatest kart racers. It's the greatest kart racer of all time. The online sucks, though, so I can't give it a masterpiece score. But everything else there is fucking amazing. I'm very curious to see where Mario Kart World lands personally and then with everyone else. But I am looking forward to it. Headline number 2. Microsoft raises the price of all Xbox Series consoles. Xbox games confirmed to hit $80 this holiday. This is Rebecca Valentine at IGN. Quote, Microsoft is raising prices on Xbox by a lot. In an announcement today, the company said it will be raising prices on Xbox consoles, controllers, headsets, and some games. The price hike for consoles and accessories kicks in today, May 1st. And while game prices will stay the same for now, we should expect to see Xbox charging $79.99 for new first-party games around the holiday season. Price increases are taking effect globally, with the exception of headset prices, which are only going up in the United States and Canada. Going forward, here are the expected prices on various Xbox consoles and accessories in the United States. And quote, there's a long list of, I'm just going to call out the 2 major headlines of what's changing, which are the core consoles, the models that you would expect, the Series S and the Xbox. They have it listed that the Xbox Series S 512 gigabyte model is now $379.99, going up from $299.99, which is an $80 increase. And the Xbox Series X is $599.99, going up from $499.99, which is a $100 increase from that console. Getting back to the article now, quote, Microsoft issued IGN with the following statement as to why the price increases were taking place. Quote, we understand that these changes are challenging, and they were made with careful consideration given market conditions and the rising cost of development. Looking ahead, we continue to focus on offering more ways to play games across any screen and ensuring value for Xbox players, end quote. Connor, this was any other week, it's headline number 1. Like this is huge news when it comes to the gaming landscape at this point. $80 titles from Xbox first party expected later this year. Consoles going up a whole $100 for the main system at this point. Is this just going to happen forever now?
Yes, unfortunately, I think it seems like that's the trend we're looking at, where things are just going to continue to get more and more expensive. And whether or not there's a reason for it, I do not think matters. Similar to what I said about Nintendo Switch 2 and their prices and on games and the console, it's just going to be more expensive and it's going to suck for the consumer. And that sucks at the end of the day. It seems like, as I understand it, Microsoft makes their consoles and controllers and such in China.
Yes,
and
that's what I've heard.
That is a big reason for the increase in cost of the console, which isn't necessarily their fault, but it's going to be passed on to the consumer. And at the end of the day, that's what I really care about, is what it's going to cost to go buy it at the store and how that's going to change the way that we talk about and purchase and participate in this medium, in this hobby. So these are big increases for a console that's already not selling well at all.
Yeah.
Like really, really poorly. And right when Xbox gets a good swing of momentum, which I think Avowed and South of Midnight are good to great video games. I think that obviously Expedition 33, Oblivion Remaster, Game Pass, excellent, fantastic to have those there. People are talking about Xbox as being like one of the good guys in the industry, especially in comparison to the $80 price point for Switch games, and being like, Game Pass, baby, like just play all your games on Game Pass. And then now it's just like, fuck, Game Pass prices are going to go up again. You have to imagine
they will.
That it's not just the tariff factor. It's also, they mention in here, it's the rising cost of development. And that's something that I've talked about in the past, that there's a reason that these games are probably going to continue to cost more. It's because they keep ballooning when it comes to the development cost. But I just want to continue to circle back that there can be a reason for it, but $80 is $80 is $80. If you already are looking at Xbox games and being like, I don't know, like especially when in comparison to just buying it on or getting Game Pass, it's like, why would you ever get any of these games like full price, which at the end of the day hurts the developer to just be playing all these games on Game Pass. The developer always would prefer that you buy the game full stop, because that gives them the biggest cut or whatever, and is better for their future and better for the next game. But now it's like you could never make an argument that the consumer really just should be going for Game Pass when it comes to these games. So this is all bad news. It all sucks. There might be a reason for it at the end of the day that kind of explains it away, but it's just gonna be hard on the consumer from now on. So
ditto. Story number 3. Oh no, I'm kidding. But like, no, I echo everything that you just said. This sucks. I think that I want to go the other way with it. You touched on it, but like for me, the biggest news was $100 more for a Series X, because we knew that the $80 was going to come eventually.
Yeah,
like that was just a shoe that was waiting to drop. I didn't expect it to drop this soon. PlayStation, it's going to be $80 real soon. And by the way, GTA 6, I didn't want to mention it in that news story because I knew it pertained to this. That's $100 game. I used to be on board that it was going to be $70 and they were going to do good guy GTA. No, it's going to be, no matter what, it is a $100 price tag. You do get online with it. It's not going to be a separate thing. And so they're going to be like, it's $80, but the 20 for online. So we're just going to say 100 is a full package, $100 all in. You're good to go. That's wild. But yeah, all that's going to happen. And guess what? We are not, sadly, we're not too far away from 90 and 100 across the board for everyone. Mm-hmm. Well, that's going to happen in our lifetime. That is going to be the case for certain titles. I assume Zelda Breath of the Wild 5, whatever that's going to end up being, it's $100 game.
Breath of the Wild 5.
I'm just saying, like the 5th iteration of open world Zelda.
But I was confused. Dude, PS5 Pro though. Go buy one right now. If you do not own a console, that thing's going up in cost, and it looks like a really good price point in comparison to a Series X that is
$600.
$600. It's like, okay, for $100 more, you can get something way more powerful. It's like, all right, that's a consideration. No, PC now looking like definitely. It's always been the best value when it comes to buying games and Steam sales and everything.
Yes, sales. I'm a firm believer that when you're having the conversation of like where to go, you need to go and quantify who you are as a gamer. Are you a patient gamer and are okay with sitting and waiting? PC is going to be a great initial purchase, and then guess what? You're playing $3 games, and you're playing something like The Witcher for $5. It's like awesome. Like that's a great fucking deal. Are you somebody that really cares about like hopping in and like playing all the new shit right away? Well, it's gonna be 70 there and 70 there, and they both run, and so go with the cheapest option there. That has always been my like a hard part of the conversation, because we're having when you're saying which place is better to go, PC gets a leg up on this conversation with this increase for sure. Yeah. But in the first place, it's all about what type of gamer are you, in my opinion. Also, what type of experience you want.
I do want to somewhat refute the fact that I know that people are going to be like, Nintendo did the $80, so they saw that and they said, we're doing this. I think that certainly could play a part, or it might have sped up the process for them. These things do not happen overnight like this in the span of like a month. It doesn't happen that fast. Like, I would imagine that this has been in the works for a while. These conversations have been happening. Do I think Nintendo played a part in it?
Yes.
Certainly. But they were going to do this eventually.
Yes.
Sean Layden, the president of PlayStation Worldwide Studios previously, he said in interviews that they were kicking themselves at the start of this generation for not going to $80 because of the development costs that kept getting worse and worse. And they probably should have just went to $80 in 2020 and just kind of eaten that bad press and moved on, so they didn't have to do it twice. But so like the fact that it's gone for this long is kind of wild, but this was going to happen regardless of if Nintendo was going to do it or not.
I went on a tangent about a bunch of other shit. Getting back to just the Series X costing $600, that is fanciful. Like that, and you said it with the PS5 Pro, across the board, any system, if you are on the edge right now, like, should I pick up a PlayStation or a Switch at the current price point? Because this jump happened now. I would say Switch 2, not Switch 1. That's the PlayStation is at the cheapest is 400 digital, 500 for a disc drive and everything. Mm-hmm. Never gonna be cheaper. It is only going north.
It's probably gonna go up. I don't know where these are manufactured though.
But I think that to some level they need to make that move because of where it's manufactured and the way tariffs are going to come into play and marketing conditions. We're going to have to read fucking marketing conditions on this show. Or market conditions, yes, on this show so many times over the year, because that's what's going to come into play, which is, hey, things are getting more expensive across the board. And yes, things are getting more expensive for the consumer. So that's what really fucking sucks. But as the gamer and wanting to go and buy and experience these awesome things, and like, once again, this is a quick tangent. Fucking, we've said it for 2 weeks on this show and other shows. Shout out to Sandfall, $50 game of the year currently. Like standing by, being like, no, we want as many people to experience this as possible, so we're gonna make it cheaper because price point is extremely difficult for consumers right now. Making a game and putting it on Game Pass, and obviously Game Pass gives them money, but they did not need to make that game $50. They just wanted more people to experience it, and that is totally a company that is just across the board from the ground up doing it right, understanding the current world that, like, it feels like that team is a group of people that are just like nailing it. And then when we see $80, I'm like, that is an accountant somewhere saying like, hey, no, you gotta do this. Like it's time to go and do that. It's just a calculator basically deciding what this price point needs to be. I can't reason $600 for an Xbox. This is my Game Pass machine. I played Persona on it mainly because I didn't want to break embargo with Expedition on my PlayStation, so I just wanted to go and play Persona on the Xbox. But also, like, I like playing my Xbox. I love the controller. If I'm going to play a game for 2 or 120 hours, I'm happy to use my Xbox controller more so than my PlayStation controller. I love Game Pass. Game Pass, just being able to at any moment, because we're in on Game Pass for a year, just boom, I'm gonna hop into Forza. I've played the opening of Hi-Fi Rush like 4 different times, and I'm so happy that I'm able to do that just with my subscription. That makes my day happier, and that is solely due to Game Pass. If I want to play Halo Infinite or Halo just in general, because it is still one of the best multiplayer experiences of all time, it takes me 2 minutes to boot it up and I'm playing Halo. Like, there is so much good in Game Pass and what that console is able to offer at a $600 price point. That is wild to ask for. But I think that the reason that they were trying to point everyone elsewhere is because the Xbox already was a poorly selling piece of hardware compared to not only the PlayStation, but just like previous Xboxes and everything, the Series X, that is. And so it's a niche product already. They want to point everyone to go, hey, play it on your PC, play Game Pass on your phone, play on the cloud, play it on a Samsung TV, do all that. Do not hop in, which is bold to go and be like, don't buy Series X. They still want you to buy the Series X, but they are now saying our number 600. Buy it or don't. But if you want to play Xboxes, we do have these other options, and it's not the Nintendo Doug Bowser line of like, just go play the old thing. It's like, no, you can still have a great modern next gen experience, Xbox experience, playing it on your PC, playing it on your smartphone with cloud and stuff like that. Is that a little bit lessened? Absolutely. But that's a $20 Game Pass subscription on a phone compared to a $600 piece of hardware. People will happily make that concession because they know that they will, and people do that. And so $600 is wild. It doesn't make sense. The Series S being close to we're now $20 away. The Series S is $20 away from the digital PS4. Digital PS5. $20. Why would you pick up a Series S? The whole reason for the Series S at the start of this generation was go get a Series S. You're in on the next generation. Play Call of Duty on Game Pass. Boom. It's such a good number. 300, such a fucking good number. And they ruined that. And I understand why. And it makes sense why. But that is it doesn't make any... and I don't think anyone can convince me otherwise. I need someone to explain that to me. Because it doesn't make sense.
They have to do it.
Other than they have to do it.
Because they would be selling it for less than,
yes.
And they were making by a lot because of tariffs or whatever.
But now it is a useless product, basically. Like, the Series S made a ton of sense to me beforehand. Sure, it's annoying that they can't go and have Baldur's Gate on at day one because they have to deal with the Series S, but it outsells the Series X basically 3-1, right? So, like, but now we're talking about a product that literally, if we're going and saying you can have a PlayStation with these exclusives and whatever, you are solely saying, I want to get in on the next generation, but only with Game Pass and Xbox. And I just don't understand that sell currently, other than, hey, Oblivion and Expedition are there.
It's because it's all going to be relative soon.
Yeah.
If the PlayStation goes up in cost, as you probably would expect it will, and that's $500 and $600, and then $800 for the Pro, it's like, okay, well, then the cheapest option to get in to play modern games is the Series S at $300 $80 sounds a lot better than 500 at like at a floor level for a lot of people.
Yeah, totally.
That's going to be the logic, I think.
Also, the PlayStation has gone up in other parts of the world, just not US. And so the question is,
it
when
depends on where it's manufactured. I don't know where it's manufactured.
Yeah, the question is, when is that going to hit the United States? And that's the last question I'll pose to you. When do we get that news?
I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever get the news just because I don't know where it's manufactured.
Yeah.
Because if it is not manufactured in China, then I think that changed the whole landscape of potential price increases.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I think that they still can just hop in on the wave and no one would bat an eye right now.
Yes.
You get one bad news story if you're PlayStation right now. You did it after everyone else did it. And everyone's just gonna be like, okay, cool. In the same way that Xbox right now is with the $80 games, sort of getting a free pass a little bit. They're not getting roasted as much as Nintendo did because Nintendo did it first and it was less bad.
They are majority made in China.
Yeah. So it's going to happen.
Yes.
We will get that eventually. I'll repeat it again. If you're thinking about buying a PlayStation 5, it's not going to get cheaper.
And these are never coming down.
Never.
This has given them the excuse if the tariffs go away, they're not. I doubt they drop the price all of a sudden, like substantially. They could move it a little bit, but I don't think this is giving them the excuse to just get to that price point and stay there.
Yeah,
probably.
It's so frustrating, and this is just we're gonna have the PlayStation story about this in either a week or a month or a year, but it's gonna happen, and I at the same time don't feel comfortable being like everybody just go out and buy a PlayStation right now because I understand that like things are about to get really hard potentially. So just
like,
to reiterate,
if
you're thinking about it already, they're not going down in price. That's sort of where I'm at. And I told
means to do it. Yeah,
I told Matt that too. He's like, yeah, I'm planning on getting a Switch 2 when Pokemon drops because he's a big Pokemon fan. And I'm like, dude.
There's a chance that it's going to be $650 to get one in November.
Like, those pre-orders were a hell of a battle for sure, but, like, also, that's a battle that seemingly if you won, it might have been a great decision compared to, like, I don't know if in a month, like, there's a chance that it goes up in price before the goddamn thing comes out if they want to. Like, we're in an odd situation in the market, and it's going to affect video games a lot, especially here in the States with just... not only inflation and prices going up and development costs is going up, but tariffs. So very interesting, something that we will be discussing a lot on the show for weeks to come. Story number 3, headline: PlayStation 5 and PC single-player action game Lost Soul Aside delayed 3 months to add polish. This is Wesley Unipool at IGN. Quote, Lost Soul Aside is delayed 3 months from May 30th to August 29th, 2025, its developer has announced. After roughly a decade in development, the PC and PS5 single-player action game was finally scheduled for launch next month, but a statement from developer UltiZero Games revealed the delay to late August to add polish. Quote, we are truly grateful for the positive response we've received from players all over the world since we announced Lost Soul Aside, end quote, UltiZero Games said. Quote, we remain committed to delivering a high-quality game experience. To match the standards UltiZero Games have set for ourselves, we're going to take some additional time to polish the game. Lost Soul Aside will now release on August 29th, 2025. We want to express our heartfelt thanks to our fans waiting for the launch. End quote. Connor, it was coming out the same day as Night Rain. Is this not just immediately a great move for this team?
It's a good move. This is my GTA 6. this is my delay that I'm sad about. No, I'm just kidding. I am sad about this though. But same kind of mentality that take your time, make the game great. I think this game looks fucking sick. I really am kind of feeling an action game like this right now. That's kind of like a mix between something a little bit more like Devil May Cry and something like Final Fantasy. It kind of looks like the marriage of those two.
Maybe some Stellar Blade in there too, thrown in for modern action titles.
So it looks sick. I'm excited to play this one. 3 months isn't too bad. Get out of the way of Night Rain. I'm just saying that there's a nice opening now for me to get Death Stranding done before... Because Night Rain I'll play, but like that's like an on and off type of deal.
A stream for 6 hours with me on that Monday. And other than that... you're not technically reviewing it, I don't think, or anything.
But I'll play it. Like it's not something that it seems like it's like a beginning and end type of deal. It's something you just kind of like play every once in a while. You hop on with the boys.
Apparently, there's 8 like final bosses that you can get to and defeat, I'm thinking on getting like an old-timey detective board behind me, putting up all the photos of each 8, and then taking red expo markers and crossing them out. And after I finish the 8th one, shrug my shoulders to me like, getting too old for this shit, and then finish the game and never touch it again. That's where I'm at with Night Rain. But it's obviously a great move to get it out of the way of Night Rain. It might not be the best time for this game to release, though. Looking at our calendar, just what we're excited about, Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater releases 3 days beforehand. Shinobi Art of Vengeance, that badass 2D game, is also coming out the same day as Lost Soul Aside. About a week later, Hell is Us is coming out, and then we'll get to it later in the show. Borderlands 4 is a week after that.
This sucks.
So they chose a hell of a time to... They got out of the nuclear blast that was Night Rain, only to be met with like 4 different tanks lined up at it when it comes to the competition. Do you think that this is once again, just now with this context, a solid decision for this team?
I just put it like a week before, 2 weeks before.
Well, then you got Mafia in
between
there.
Mafia and Metal Gear, and like have some spread this out a little bit. But yeah, no, that's not good. That's bad for them. I'm excited for this game. I'll still play it no matter what. But I'm more excited for that than Hell is Us, but it's close.
Hell is Us. Well, let's run down the gauntlet. Are you more excited for Snake Eater or Lost Soul Side?
Probably Lost Soul Side, but just because I haven't played Snake Eater. Yeah, but I'm excited for Snake Eater too.
And maybe this whole podcast is just going to turn into this conversation every single time we get the chance. You mentioned, thank goodness, you got some time for a Death Stranding playthrough now. You can finish that up for Death Stranding 2. When are you going to get to Snake Eater, dude?
Dude, I don't know.
We are on the crunch time because all of a sudden after Death Stranding, we're away on vacation for a week and there's more games and Donkey Kong. And maybe the answer is just right before Snake Eater and you just don't rock. Yeah, and you don't rock the old country, which... Man, oh man, I'm excited to play that one. Like that's one of those question marks. I put it on the whiteboard for GOTY potential noms. I was like, there's a chance. Like, what if the story's just fucking awesome and the gameplay is great? I
think the conversation around Mafia has just changed a lot since Mafia 3, which Mafia 3 was just an okay, fine video game. But I think that if Mafia: The Old Country is closer to the level of 1 and 2, which as I understand are great video games, then we could be talking potential GOTY conversation.
But for me, when I look at this section, it's my second most anticipated outside of Metal Gear. Like I'm looking forward to it more than I am Hell's Us and Borderlands 4. And
we'll talk about Borderlands
Shinobi.
4 in a second for the story.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to this. I want more games like this in the arsenal. Like you said, I would love a game like this right now. I'm coming off of 150 hours of turn-based games recently. I could use a sword slashy game and go from there. But yeah, no, it does stink that we don't know codes, anything like that. But like, I'm gonna be considering we don't get codes, I'm gonna be playing Snake Eater and not Lost Soul Side. And but we will review both those games and make sure that we get both those up and out there for everyone. But also Shinobi Art of Vengeance, that game looks awesome. And now the question mark of like, are we gonna have time to get to it? It's now being released by a major game. Like, kind of stinks. Like that's one that I would love to hop into for a night or two, and then if it's a 15 to 20 hour game, maybe complete on an airplane or go and just like grab a Switch and play it in bed for a while before like going to bed or something. But I don't know. It's just real sad. But it once again just shows how stacked this fucking year is. And now I don't feel bad hopping into Night Rain day one and just going crazy with it. The other part with Lost Soul Side is it was a week before the Switch launch. So it's like anyone that's gearing up to get a Switch, when the question is, do I hop into a new IP question mark of a game when you have the conversation be all about Night Rain, because that's going to be the headline across the board because it's Elden Ring, and then a week later it is Switch. I think that game has the capability to have a moment now that I honestly think was nearly impossible unless it was a 92 on Metacritic. Like, it's okay for this game to be an 87 and be fine and go from there. Headline, Borderlands 4 gets a 20-minute gameplay deep dive video. This is Chris Scullion at VGC. Quote, the video, which was featured as part of PlayStation's State of Play series of presentations, lasted 20 minutes and showed the game running on PlayStation 5 Pro. The presentation showed 2 of the game's 4 new Vault Hunters, introduced some of its new weapons and showed the game's new planet, Kairos. The Vault Hunters shown were Vex, a siren who can either power herself up or, quote, manifest deadly shades to fight alongside her, end quote, and Rafa, an exo soldier who wears an exosuit which can create an arsenal of weapons. Other features shown in the game include the ability to glide and wall climb and ride a new vehicle called a Digi-Runner. On Tuesday, Gearbox announced that it had shifted Borderlands' release date forward from its original September 23rd date to September 12th. End quote. Connor, happy birthday. Borderlands. How are you feeling about it?
Good. Yes, it's coming out on my birthday. I like Borderlands 3. I love Borderlands 2, but I wouldn't say like I'm a Borderlands guy. There's people who go crazy for these games and spend hundreds of hours in them, and I've never been that person. I watched some of the footage for this. Game looks fucking sick, dog. Like, this game looks great. I really didn't know if I was gonna play this, and now it's like, if I have the time, for sure, dude. Like, it looks really good, and I would like to play it with you and others. That would be a lot of fun. I think the game looks great. I could go for a game like this. It's definitely something that will scratch an itch that I've had for a minute, and I think that like the gunplay looks great, the art style looks excellent. Yeah, I'm all about this. So what'd you think of the gameplay?
I watched all of it. I reacted during the Persona 5 marathon to just take a little bit of a break, and I was very impressed with what they showed. This looks like an 8 out of 10 that I'm going to have a great time in with you and Brady, and it's going to be fun looting and shooting. The big question mark with Borderlands is, can the story be awesome? Can the humor hit? Like, that was the other than some like bouncing issues, which they are seemingly fixing in this iteration from 3. My curiosity is like, will this type of humor still hit for me? Because it's very immature often, and if you know me, I'm very immature, but still, some of the lines, even in the trailers, like, I was like, there was like 2 jokes thrown out there, during the gameplay section, and neither of them even made me exhale out of my nose. Like, it was just very, okay, whatever, But if the core combat's there, and it's a bunch of fun, and the grind sort of works, yeah, sign me up for some Borderlands 4. Like, this is, like I said, 8 out of 10 fun. It's September 12th. It's before Marathon. It's after Lost Soul Aside and Metal Gear. I'm going to be looking forward to playing a looty shooty game right around then, after playing 2 narrative-based games. Hell is Us coming out. I'm curious to see what that does around this area. Once again, we were just talking about Lost Soul Aside. It is in that wash of a lot of great games all coming out at once. So we'll see where it lands. It is exciting to try to figure that out, but I am looking forward to it. I do think that the showing was as good of a showing, basically, as I would expect from Borderlands 4, if not much, much, much better. Because I started that reaction being like, I'm not playing Borderlands 4. And then around 30 seconds in, I was like, I might be playing Borderlands 4.
Yeah.
It looked pretty cool.
And the date moving up, great. That rarely happens in the games industry. Yeah. So it's cool that took place.
So I didn't want to, I pulled this away from the story because GTA got announced and everything and moved, and that sort of added so much credence to the statement. But apparently the statement came out from Randy Pitchford, yep. Who was just like, hey, we're not moving this due to other games, because the initial question was like, GTA is coming out in November, baby. That's what that means. Let's go. I still think that they might have been like, I do not want to release a game the same day as Marathon, which is another looty shooty type game. And they seemingly have the opportunity to move it forward. It was coming out the same day as Marathon previously. If you have the opportunity to move a game forward and really let it dominate an area of this year, rock and roll. I also think that this is one of those question mark games that really could, out of the blue, be a GOTY contender. Like, it's Borderlands. Only 2 iterations ago, it was one of the best games ever, you know? So
we were talking about earlier about how in 2019, The Outer Worlds got up there, and I was like, but this could be on that level, a little bit better than The Outer Worlds. And I was like, I could see this getting up there. Sure.
And I'm excited about it. Like, I'm looking forward to have some fun with my friends. This is another one of those, I don't expect it to be Monster Hunter that I fall in love with, and I'm like, oh, this is all I want to do. Even right now, let's wrap this fucking podcast up. Let's go play some Monster Hunter. I'll call Matt up. That can be our Friday night, Connor. We can have so much fun. But I don't think it's gonna be that. I don't expect it to be that. I think that when I'm looking at this year of multiplayer games that I'm looking forward to, it was Monster Hunter, it was Night Rain, and then it's like, cool, give me my narrative goodness. Mario Kart World, if you want to quantify that as just a multiplayer experience that I'm going to be playing online. But like, I don't expect Borderlands 4 to scratch this large itch. I assume Call of Duty is going to be coming out a month after this sort of deal, and that's going to be the game that I put 50 hours in. But for me, it's all about like Expedition 33 and Persona, two very different type of games, but they both have turn-based action, and it's like I want not that, and sometimes I really do want that. And for me, maybe this does scratch that itch right when it makes sense, or maybe I hold out for Marathon. I assume Marathon beta or something is going to happen before then, and I'm like, I'm about that rock and roll. But we'll see how it goes. I'm very curious. I'm very excited. And you want to know what else I'm excited about, Connor? Our Patreon our Patreon members for May. Thank you for all the people that go and support us over on Patreon. Thank you for the people that go up to that dearly beloved membership that makes us read your name at the end of every single podcast. People like MG Dunbar,
Mr. Munchies,
Farmer Spud,
Rocket Tater,
Nofi,
DQ Lonzer,
Apathetic Titan,
JC Falcon,
Frozen Crushes,
Swampy Bits,
Jaxie,
Sconzi,
Cheery Sentry, which in the document it auto-corrected. It's not Cherry Sentry, it's Cheery Sentry.
I've been saying it right for the last few weeks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I suck. I'm sorry about that. If we ever get your name wrong, just a reminder, please let us know. We want to make sure that we say it properly.
I just forgot to tell you that I saw that their name is Cheery, not Cherry.
That's funny.
Strachan 1978.
Tyler D.
Scooterman.
Das Goopy.
Dinkelberg Rules.
Senshuro.
Hook'em Horns.
Go Nash.
Neutral Sphere.
Charlie W.
Easton C.
It's Easton C. Sorry, that was just a mistype there.
Easton C.
Stooby dooby doo, what Stooby dooby doo, what?
Calvin M.
We nuke this kingdom.
Crispy.
DJ Zach B.
JC.
Uli.
Jacob D.
Big Mac.
Metal 8.
The Patty Cake.
Bear Pog.
Yogi.
Dom.
Holden M.
Colin C.
Brock.
Jesse F.
Drifter X1. Skirt.
Presto.
Maverick.
Goops.
JMat B3.
Ali Benali.
Michael.
And Kingdom Hearts Sucks.
Which is it is Vorpal Matt, but you did change your name to Kingdom Hearts Sucks. So we will be reading that at the end of every single podcast. And also, because Vorpal Matt was the first person to ever go and sign up to the Patreon at that membership, he's the last one on the list. So that is how we're going to close out every single one of these podcasts. And Connor, you want to know the best part is?
What?
Everyone that I host has you reading that name last.
Yeah.
And everyone that you host, I'm going to try to hop in early. I'm going to try to say the first name, so you have to read it every single time. The Kingdom Hearts Sucks.
That's funny.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Casual Gaming News Conversation. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.